guys, and welcome to another weekly wrap-up. On Monday this week, my Monday musing was a response to Ophelia Dagger's new video, The Art of the Asshole. I will link that video down below. I also link it in the response, so if you want to see that response, it's a written-out blog post. I will link that down below.
On Monday, I was back with a From the Notebook video. Now that I am back with full use of my teeth and mouth mostly, and that was on some favorite books to reread, about all the books that I reread while I was home, and so it's like some of my favorite books of all time, plus some ones that I thought were better than they were, so watch that. That's great.
On Tuesday, we posted our first joint review on Paper Towns by John Green, so if you want to hear our thoughts on this, it's a video. I will link it up above in the eye.
On Wednesday, I did, of course, another Worth It Wednesday that was inspired by the fairy tale retellings video that Michaela and I did last week, and it was on Splintered by A.J. Howard, that great Alice in Wonderland kind of retelling, kind of continuation that I was talking about. So if you want more of my thoughts about why you should read that, definitely check that out.
My Wednesday post was a review of Low Volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. A couple weeks ago, I did a review of Low Volume 2, and I realized that I had never done a review for the first volume, which is a shame because that was my favorite comic of the year last year. So I fixed that by writing a review of the first one. I will link that down below, and it links to the second volume if you would like to see my thoughts on that as well.
On Thursday, I had a Thesis Thursday post that was one of the more personal and confessional posts that I've written for one of those, and it was about the novel that I wrote last semester and why I'm having trouble finishing it, because I'm petrified of editing, and I tend to give up when I think of editing my own stuff. If you are interested at all in hearing about that, please check that out and, talk to me, especially if you want to offer to, do my editing for me. That would be cool.
On Friday, I had an ARC review of Alternate, which is a science fiction story about time-traveling assassins. If you would like to know my thoughts on that, you can see it on my blog.
On Friday, I also had a review, actually, of one of those books that I reread while I was home, and that's The 20th Wife by Indu Sundarasan. It, unfortunately, was not as good as I remembered, and that made me very sad, and also was a very strangely written historical fiction novel for what it was supposed to be. So I'm still really excited to read the next book in that series, but definitely that book was not at all what I remembered from the first time I read it.
And finally, on Saturday on my blog, I started a new feature here on YouTube, which is called Flicks, where I do a book and movie review. My first one was on Carol, so if you want to watch that video, I'll link it up above, and the post obviously is linked down below as well.
So now we're going to jump into what we read this week, and I'm going to go first because I did not read nearly as much as Michaela, because I am back here at school, and I had homework, and so, yeah. If you didn't guess, this week I read Paper Towns by John Green, and I don't want to say too much about that because obviously Michaela and I have a fantastic video you should watch about that, but I gave it 3 stars, and I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, which was really weird. I was prepared to hate John Green, and I couldn't, and that makes me sad. I also read one of my ARCs from NetGalley, and that is Lions in the Garden by Chelsea Luna. This novel, again, was not what I expected or hoped it to be. It had a very, very rough start with a good middle, and then the end. You'll have to wait until February to see that review because, again, it's an ARC and it doesn't come out until March 1st, but be ready for that. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be great.
I also read Paper Towns this week, so, we did a video on that. That's why I read it. I read Mr. Splitfoot by Samantha Hunt, which was one of my top 5 anticipated novels of the year. I borrowed it from the library a little while ago. I finally finished it. It was really great. I think I'm going to make a video review of this one, so look forward to that. I read that ARC that came out on Friday called Alternate this week. It already came out last year, so the review came out on Friday. This one was pretty good. You'll have to read my review to know my full thoughts on that. And finally, I finished listening to The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I was actually surprised by how much I didn't like it, despite it being a thriller and everyone ever loving it. I didn't see the twist at the end, but I also didn't particularly enjoy it. So I might have to make a review of that one as well.
Thanks for watching our weekly wrap-up. We hope that you've seen some stuff that you want to go check out. Or, I mean, hey, maybe you've already watched it, and that makes you really seriously awesome. But you should go back and, like, leave a comment on it and tell us that you liked it. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Tell us. Talk with us. Tweet at us. We will see you next week with another weekly wrap-up. And in the meantime, enjoy what's coming. Bye!